This is 7 News, the voice of the New England.
Tonight, regional paramedics will boycott registration as they fight for more pay from the state government.
Cattle sales decline, but consumers still pay steep prices at the checkout.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, how authorities are tracking the dangerous asylum seekers released from detention and how the record growth in wages will impact our interest rates.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. Paramedics across the region will boycott their registrations as their union fights for more pay.
They will be officially removed from the register on January 1, leaving around 1,500 paramedics without a job. Olivia Babb is with us in Tamworth tonight. Olivia, what does this mean for paramedics and the community?
Nick, paramedics won't pay for their registrations when it's due at the end of this month. The New South Wales paramedics are paid up to 45% less than other health professionals in similar roles and are calling for pay to be in line with Queensland's. The New South Wales government offered 4% over 2 years. However, negotiations haven't been accepted by either party.
They are exhausted, they are understaffed and they are overworked. The New South Wales health system is under a lot of stress at the moment. Paramedics every single day are alleviating some stress off that health system. They're not recognised for it.
And this is not the situation we want for our community, but that is why I'm working on it literally every day and I'm continuing to have discussions. I'll have more discussions no doubt today and over the course of this week.
This could be the final step to get the pay rise that paramedics want.
OK, thanks, Olivia. That's Olivia Babb giving us an update tonight.
Tamworth Regional Council will establish a new housing strategy as it works to provide more affordable and social housing in the region. It requires feedback from the community and local businesses as it explores the challenges within the market.
It's a plan to address Tamworth's housing crisis as the lack of social and affordable homes intensifies across the region.
We have quite a lot of zoned land already around Tamworth City particularly, but also around the towns. And we are looking at doing increased density in those areas and also inside the established areas of the city and the towns.
They're seeking advice from the community to better understand demographics, local land use opportunities and housing supply and demand.
We've got statistics from the Australian Bureau of Statistics and things like that, but the community provide us with the real insight, the stories and how they're living.
Real estate agents are seeing firsthand how challenging it can be to break into the rental market.
Yeah, it is really tough, especially the first-time renters, obviously having no rental history, so it's hard for landlords to judge.
Tamworth Family Support Service says the biggest problem facing the region is affordable housing.
One of the biggest issues that we've been facing for a number of years now, I guess with the housing crisis across the region, is just absolutely the lack of suitable and affordable housing.
More social housing could be part of the solution to help ease the housing crisis, but the process to have this type of accommodation built can be long and difficult.
We had actually been around and had a look at some of the Crown land parcels with the Aboriginal Lands Council. Absolutely, I think it's a fantastic idea, but I think we just need to be able to move some of the red tape to fast track that as soon as possible.
The survey is available online and is open to the public until the 12th of December. Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Childcare centres across the region continue to face long wait lists and limited staff. But there is hope tonight. A new grant program from the state government could support new facilities, extend operating hours and deliver transport.
Workforce issues haven't relented across childcare centres in the region. Local facilities are holding out hope there will be an influx of university graduates seeking work at the end of the year.
It's getting the educators in, it's getting qualified educators in, teachers are hard to find right now.
A new $20 million flexible initiatives trial by the New South Wales government will allow early childhood centres to apply for funding, helping staff recruitment, transportation and extended care.
It could include costs for an additional early childhood teacher. It could include costs for professional development so that staff understand the new ways of working associated with extended hours.
But Ms Phillips has concerns over the possibility of the trial extending facility hours and how they will staff it.
It's about having parents going back into jobs. You know, where is the value of education here? So every child has the right to an education.
Mr Barakat confirmed the program will help parents return to work.
It's very much about supporting children and looking after children. But on top of that, it does play an important role in the economic participation of parents.
Olivia Babb, 7 News.
A war is raging between supermarkets and farmers as meat price differences remain as high as ever. Calls are growing louder for a price inquiry so families aren't forking out more than they should.
This year, it's been an unfair game for the meat industry. Less feed for livestock has led to skinnier but far cheaper meat, but adversely, production costs are sky high.
Just the general cost of operations, electricity, fuel prices, freight. Nothing's really gone down lately in terms of operating expenses.
Penrose Meats have seen beef prices go down 22% since January, but that's been substituted by an increase of 22% in production costs compared to last year. So that decrease in livestock price can't be passed on to the consumer.
It's not tough as a job. The tough part is to get that pricing structure right. You still need to maintain a profitable business to keep the doors open.
It's the big supermarkets that are under fire. Farmers are paying around $3.65 per kilo, but on the shelves it costs $36 per kilo for a grass-fed rump steak and $25 for a beef rump roast.
Yeah, the benefit of shopping local is your money stays in a big proportion of it, stays in the region, stays in the town.
Calls are growing from both the coalition government and industry to conduct a price inquiry to ensure shoppers and farmers aren't being ripped off at the supermarket.
If we could get an inquiry, it would mean there's some scrutiny and some transparency over why we're seeing these lags in prices actually flowing through to the consumers.
I think an inquiry would be beneficial. Whether the government actually does take any action would be up for debate.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
The Wee Waa High School development is on track to be completed by early next year. It comes as the external structures of the buildings are now finished. Internal walls have also been completed throughout all buildings and windows and doors are now being fitted. The project will deliver a range of new facilities including learning spaces, sports fields, a library and an ag and environment centre. The project team expects high school students to start term 2 2024 next year in their new school.
Abandoned pet numbers are growing at an alarming rate across the New England Northwest region, putting pressure on pounds and vets. Now, Tamworth Regional Council is calling for more support from the state government to help solve the problem.
Pets are ending up at the Tamworth Pound and the Paws for Life shelter at an alarming rate. Long waiting lists to get pets in and not enough owners to rehome them.
They've only got, to the best of my knowledge, about 15 kennels, and for a town that's meant to be growing like Tamworth, it's a major issue.
Tamworth Regional Council has played a part in the state inquiry into pound management. Director of Livable Communities Gina Verica presenting to the inquiry yesterday, declaring the region desperately needs more support.
But it takes money. If you're going to hang on to animals long enough to get them rehomed, you need the facilities to house them. You need the space so they can be exercised. You need the funding to have adequate staff.
During COVID-19, purchasing a pet skyrocketed. But with the cost of living crisis, many people are abandoning their pets because they simply can't afford it. 72 cats were moved from the pound to the shelter in the last 6 months.
Stray cats is a big problem. You only got to drive around at night time and you see them going in and out of the gutters in the street. Obviously, stray dogs is recently a big issue because the council often is not taking them in because they don't have room anymore.
Council wants the state government to mandate desexing for cats and dogs in the hopes to decrease the number of stray animals. Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Local primary school students are learning how to stay safe in the ocean and inland waterways. The Beach to Bush program is touring across New South Wales to teach more kids about water safety and, of course, reduce drowning rates across the state.
All eyes and ears were intently focused on lifesavers in the classroom today, learning how to stay safe in the ocean and inland waterways.
So it's just giving them the exposure and the knowledge to stay safe at the beach.
For many children out in the bush, heading to the coast is one of their favourite things to do.
Probably going swimming or looking in the rock pools.
The Beach to Bush program tours across state, particularly regional and rural areas, teaching students how to spot a rip and pass through one safely. Rip currents are the highest rated coastal hazard.
If you feel like you're sinking and you're way out of your depth.
People who haven't been to the beach much before will actually gravitate towards the rips because those rip currents look really calm and they look really inviting because the waves aren't crashing in that area.
The children were put through a series of educational videos and interactive play.
Demonstrating some of the skills I think can really be helpful to engaging the kids, making sure they're really taking on that information and remembering it when they do get to go to the beach.
From swimming between the flags to raising your hand if you're in trouble, even what to do when exploring in and near rock pools. The students learnt valuable water safety measures.
If you're in any trouble, you need to raise your hand, and if there is any problems, you tell the lifeguard.
You need to have a grown-up with you when there's big waves.
That you're meant to float when you're stuck in a rip and you need to raise your hand and just relax.
The educational program also provided tips for parents to stay safe at the beach with their children. Olivia Babb, 7 News.
Well, Kirsty joins us now with a look at today's weather. And Kirsty, fire conditions to the west and another hot day right across the board.
Yeah, that's right, Maddie, Nick. Hello to you both and good evening, everybody. Before we look at today's conditions, the Hudson Fire, which is burning about 70 kilometres northwest of Walgett, reached an emergency level today. It is burning in an east and northeasterly direction thanks to 45 to 50 km/h west to southwesterly winds. That fire has also jumped containment lines with residents in Glengarry told it's too late to leave. Elsewhere, though, a band of showers actually moved over parts of the northern inland around about 6 o'clock this morning, dropping some light showers in the east around Uralla and Armidale. We have seen more above average temperatures today with high to extreme UV readings as well. A gusty breeze west to northwesterlies. They reached 50 km/h in Armidale this afternoon. A total fire ban remains in place for the northwest and the northern slopes until midnight. Into tomorrow, total fire bans as well, extreme fire danger risks with more heat and windy weather. I'll have a look at Thursday's forecast shortly.
OK, thanks, Kirsty. We'll get more weather soon.
Still to come in 7 News, the Tamworth Travel Agency receives a prestigious award.
And a rugby tournament to honour the life of a former Corrindo Lions player.
And a little later on this news hour, the PM urged to delay his trip to the US over the release of convicted criminals. A jumping castle company slammed after refusing to serve a Jewish school, and a top-level security report sounds the alarm on cybercrime in Australia.
Welcome back. Tamworth Regional Council is reminding locals to think about what can and can't be recycled. Batteries should be dropped off at one of the many B-cycle drop-off points in the city to ensure they don't cause fires in garbage trucks or sorting facilities. Recycling also prevents toxic materials from contaminating the soil and groundwater. B-cycle drop-offs can be found at your local supermarket stores or at recycling centres.
The Toothy Tens has done more than unite the rugby community after tragedy. The final event has now pushed the fundraising efforts of the Nick Tooth Foundation to more than $500,000.
The 7th and final Nick Tooth Memorial Rugby Tens tournament was given the send-off it deserved. 26 teams bringing in players from all over the country to honour Nick Tooth and raise money for brain injury in sport.
It's certainly been a gift for me and a gift for my family, I think, to help us grieve, kind of having all of these people around us, and it's all about rugby, the game that my brother loved.
The event was first played in 2015 and this year's Tens tipped the fundraising efforts to over $500,000, allowing the Nick Tooth Foundation a chance to give back one last time.
Have today, celebrate, raise as much money as possible, and then sort of, I guess, spend the next few months reflecting on the best way to use that money.
At times, the matches were as hot as the weather.
You can really see that even though they're trying to be casual and social about it. There's certainly a lot of competition out there.
Even a Wallaroo pulled on the boots and enjoyed the challenge.
It's just fun to come back home and play for emus again. They've always been in my corner, so why not play again?
But that competitive edge was still there.
Go for toothy tens. Winning. You can't not like winning, especially with the emus.
And while Goosey Sports may have lifted the major trophy, the pickled porkers were eyeing off an even bigger prize.
We try and aim for the team of the tournament rather than the best performing team. The team of the tournament, if we can get the team of the tournament, keep it real for the people, that's what we're all about.
All while delivering on the field as well.
I'm looking good at punt, fair bit of halfback, which is great. The delivery's been crisp and it's wonderful.
Michelle Cook, 7 News.
After nearly a year, the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal released its final report on the review of the rate peg methodology. The new rate peg method will be in place for the 2024-2025 financial year and will use forward-looking measures of councils' base costs. The report says changes should result in rate pegs that more accurately reflect changes in the costs New South Wales councils incur in providing their current services.
The Tamworth Travel Agency has received the Gold Choice Award for its outstanding work in the tourism industry. Chris Watson Travel Agency ranked among the top 10 performing travel businesses in Australia. Recipients are chosen based on sales figures, support of suppliers, customer testimonials and feedback.
Look, it's a great honour to receive the Traveller's Choice Gold Award for 2022-2023 and was a huge thrill for all of our staff and surprise on Saturday night at the Gala Awards.
The company received 7 more team awards, capping off a successful year.
Up next in 7 News, Gunnedah fighter Enya Ryan locks in her next opponent in the ring.
And 30 pilots take to the skies for the soaring state titles.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, exclusive access on the front line with Border Force, protecting our nation from the rising threat of drugs and illegal goods.
Plus, your top voted grocery products. Find out which supermarket favourites and household brands come out on top.
See you in the morning.
Welcome back. If you look to the skies today, you might have seen members from the Lake Keepit Soaring Club. The state titles are currently underway, bringing 30 of the best pilots into town for a week of hot competition.
A day of gliding at the state titles usually starts in the classroom. A weather briefing letting pilots know what's in store for the afternoon.
After that, you can climb back at 10 and cross the line at 10, no problem.
The weather briefing, very technical. And when you first watch it, you go, what are all of these lines and these squiggles? But after a while, it's just part of building your knowledge.
Eyes remained glued to the screen as organisers mapped the task for the day.
We need to be able to study the weather quite well and understand that very well to be able to get ourselves in the best window.
After that, more than 30 gliders are wheeled out. Last-minute checks complete before they're towed down the runway. The competitive nature of the sport is what encouraged pilots like Craig Jones to join the club.
You're just racing and it's very, very fast, very dynamic. Your friends are ahead of you, your friends are behind you, your friends are down there, up there, and you're wondering how you can get ahead of them.
Whilst this week is competitive, many people first come to the club because of the welcoming nature of the sport.
A lot of people here from Sydney, they'll come out, you're in the countryside, there's kangaroos everywhere, birds everywhere. It's a little bit of a nature reserve around here. So I think half of it is the gliding and the other half is the community.
Renting a glider for the day costs around $250. The club always encouraging new members to come for a flight anytime they like.
Come and try gliding. It's an extremely challenging sport. I've been doing it since I was 11 years old, and that's a long time ago when I started, and I'm still fascinated.
Max Gent, 7 News.
The Armidale Golf Club has now completed its fairway drainage works, meaning all 18 holes can be played no matter the weather. Last year, a large section of the course was permanently closed due to water affecting its members in both tournament and casual play. Now, a number of competitions are scheduled over the coming months as the venue returns to its absolute best. Gunnedah's Enya Ryan has locked in her next opponent as she puts her WBC Australasian welterweight title on the line. She will take on Sydney's Kate McLaren in Dubbo on December 16. Enya says she's excited to lock in her first title defence. She last fought in July but has struggled to find a suitable match inside her division. Still to come in 7 News, Kirsty is back and she'll take an in-depth look at what's happening weather-wise.
Good evening, everyone. Troughs over the northeast of the state could trigger thunderstorms and showers over the next couple of days. They'll also link up with onshore winds along the coast, with wet weather persisting. For the inland, settled weather expected as we lead into the weekend, but we will see a return to more wet weather through the eastern half of our week through the eastern half of our state through early next week. Now, rainfall is certainly likely to increase under this system. We could see heavy showers stretching from the northeast of the state through the central west and as well down to parts of the southeast. 30 to 50 millimetres is possible from next Sunday into early next week. Even heavier falls are likely. Taking a look to Thursday's weather now, partly cloudy conditions for the northern inland, but remaining hot tomorrow. Temperatures again up to the high 30s for Narrabri and in the west. Later in the day, though, there is a slight chance of a storm and a shower. Some very strong west to northwesterly winds around too. The winds combined with that heat will see an extreme fire risk for the northwest district and the northern slopes. Total fire bans remain in place for both districts for all of tomorrow, and a fire weather warning has also been issued for both regions. As we track into Friday, we will see temperatures reduced by as much as 7 degrees for some regions, including Corindai dropping from the mid-30s down to the high 20s. Fine and sunny during the day. Strong afternoon winds are likely towards the east, and certainly around the ranges we could see the chance of a thunderstorm developing, Armidale reaching 23. Tracking into Saturday, once again, there is a slight chance of a shower, around 10 to 15% chance. Otherwise, mostly fine and settled conditions. The Barrington tops a partly cloudy top of 19 degrees. Glen Innes 23 and 30 degrees under partly cloudy skies for Inverell. Winds becoming strong once again, up to 35 kilometres an hour from the north and the northeast. If we look ahead now, we can see the impacts of that potential trough barrelling into our region, bringing possibly moderate to heavy falls through Sunday and Monday. More than 30 millimetres likely over the space of the 2 days. Certainly a welcome reprieve from some very hot and dry weather that we've experienced over the last little while. Incredibly hot tomorrow, 35 degrees, much like today. Nice to see a slight drop heading into Friday, but remaining sunny.
Yeah, it's great to see a nice little drop there and some rain on the horizon.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Thanks, Kirsty.
And that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on our website or, of course, at 7+.
Right now, Dan's got your national news. Enjoy your night, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.